I read recently that you said it's a massive feat playing at Wembley without really having a hit single. But I guess that's the way the music industry is working these days, isn't it? You're a real testament to the fact that you don't need to have, or maybe never need, a hit record to play such venues. Is that right? Would you say?
I think if you're willing to put in the miles, yeah. You have to put in the miles. You can't have both, if you know what I mean. Like, you either have a hit single or you've got to go to work. The wonderful thing about a hit single is that it does a lot of the work for you. But just because you don't have a hit single doesn't mean you have to quit. There are other ways of building a fan base. And I think we're proof that if you hit the road and if you play and play and play and play, that you do build a fan base.
Yeah, I mean, it must have been hard work, like you say, building a fan base. I know you went to America for a while, didn't you, as well, so...
Yeah, I mean, this is my 6th album, so we've been working on it a long time. We've been pretty stubborn about it, but I love it. I love what I do, and I want to make sure that nobody can take it away from me, and the only way to do that is by going out and doing it yourself.
I mean, how many times were you asked by your friends if you were really playing the real Wembley and not some pub outside it?
Many times. I mean, literally up until the day of, I had people asking me, if I'm looking at the arena, where are you playing? Like, where's the bar you're playing? And I was like, no, we're playing in the arena. And that's been nice, a lot of friends, I've been touring for the last sort of 12 years. But a lot of people don't really know what we've been out there doing. So it was nice for them to be like, oh, wow, you've really been out there drafting. Nice.
So do you still find that with your friends and family now that, say family you've not seen for a while, do they still think, well, they don't realise how big you've become? Do you still get that?
Yeah, there's a lot of that because our growth has been very sort of undercover. It hasn't been, all over the papers and radios and TV and so it's been very much, a lot of it was built on the road. We've had lots of help from press, from radio, from TV, but there's been a huge growth that's come from when we were out on tour, and nobody really sees that. So I think it was a shock to a lot of people when they came to that.
It's a shock, but a good shock, I guess. But I mean, I know you've been on Graham Norton a couple of times, haven't you, as well? So I mean, he's obviously a big fan of yours.
Well, that was a career-changing moment. I mean, that was a real realization that 3 minutes on TV are worth 10 years on the road.
Yeah.
That was a real shock to the system for us.
I mean, how did that come about? Do you know? Was it just did the BBC approach you, or was it something? Did you approach Graham, or I mean, how did that?
His producers came to our show and loved our show. That helped.
Yeah.
And then Graham has the final say.
Yeah.
I asked him when I saw him. I said, "Why now? Why after all these years?" And he said, "Because I really like this song." It was a simple response.
Yeah. Which always takes us that one song, doesn't it, Jack? Just takes that one song.
Yeah.
So, I mean, would you call yourself a storyteller more so than a songwriter then? I mean, if that makes any sense, because when you write a song, you obviously are telling a story, but not all songs are like that. But for you, I guess when you write a song, it's more you're telling a story. Does that make does that come across okay?
Absolutely. I always look. I mean, that's probably why I haven't had a hit, because I think the story is more important than a hook.
Yeah.
I always love the story. I put the story first.
Yeah.
I should probably put, there's songwriters that are hunting for hooks, and there are songwriters who are hunting for stories.
Yeah.
I'm more of a story. I prefer the story.
Yeah, I know. You don't want to sing about football, say football this, football that. Or something.
No, exactly. I mean, I have tremendous respect and envy for guys who can write amazing hooks.
Yeah.
What comes next to me is storytelling.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I spoke to a band the other week called Feeder. They had a song called Buck Rogers, and that's one of their biggest hits. But even they are not fans of it. They just said it was one of them catchy things they did as an offshoot sort of thing, and then it became one of the biggest hits because he had a strange name in a catchy sort of tune. But it's not all about what they are. And I guess, like you say, it's having a hook or not having a hook.
Exactly.
But I mean, so I guess. There must be still some mystery left in what makes a song special then.
There's huge mystery. I can't answer it. I don't think anybody can answer it. There's formulas that can make songs accessible, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good song. I just always want to look back
Yeah.
And rather than focus tremendously on, I had one song that everybody knew. But since I set out, I've always said I just want to try and leave a trail of good albums. I really care about the album. I still care about the concept of an album.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, do you like it though when your music is used in films or on TV?
I love that because it allows your music to connect with an audience that you otherwise would never probably get the chance to connect with.
Okay.
So I want my music to be heard. You know, I don't.
Yeah.
God forbid. I'm not trying to keep it for me. I love that my music is heard by people. I want my music to connect with people. That's the best feeling about this job is when music connects.
Yeah.
Not necessarily when music tells. That helps, but it's about that connection. That's when you get the buzz.
Yeah. I mean, your new album, Singing to Strangers. Where did you get the title from for that?
What?
The Singing to Strangers. I mean, why did you use that as a title for the album?
It was something my daughter said when a friend of hers asked her what her dad does.
Right.
She said, I don't know. He goes around the world singing to strangers. And I thought this was a wonderfully simple way of describing what I kind of lost sight of it. And, and I just realized that at the end of the day, that is my job.
Like Singing to Strangers.
Deciding my job.
She nailed that one. How old is your daughter? Is she quite young or?
She's 7.
Oh my goodness! So she's quite bright then to think that, thinking her head, singing to strangers, which it is. You are, and
she's a special one.
Yeah, I've got a daughter as well, so she's 11. My daughters, and they are unique. Unique.
You look at the picture. They know it. They know they do.
Yeah, they do. When she's a bit older, mate, she'll get even more strict with you.
It's gonna be tough. She's gonna outdo me in every way possible.
Oh gosh, yeah. So, I mean, when did you discover then, Jack, that you could sing? I mean, you've got a voice. I mean, I've been listening to a lot of your stuff, and I'm going to come see you in November in Cardiff. But when did you discover that you could sing? I mean, I know I think you were songwriting first or something, were you? But when did you realise you could actually sing?
It's a weird one. I was actually talking about this yesterday with a friend of mine I hadn't seen since high school, and he actually reminded me of pretty much the exact incident when I discovered I could sing.
Okay.
I was on a school trip in Florence.
Yeah.
And the movie Sister Act 2 had just come out.
Okay.
And there's this wonderful scene in the movie where this kid sings Happy Days, oh Happy Days. And I was on a school trip with my friends. And these girls were singing Oh Happy Days, because Sister Act was a big movie then.
Yeah.
And I just started singing along. And they stopped singing and they turned to me and they were like, wow, you can sing.
All right.
That was kind of the moment where I was like, can I? And they were like, yeah, that was pretty good. And so I thought, that's cool. Nobody's ever told me I was good at anything before, so it was kind of like, I'll take that. And I was kind of the first time I'd ever been acknowledged. And then all the rest happened.
What age was that, Jack?
First time that was the first time I ever opened my mouth in public.
How old were you then?
I've been about 14.
14, right, okay. I mean, you said about school there. I mean, what were you like in high school then?
Believe it or not, I was very quiet. I was very shy. I was very short. And, so I guess this whole singing thing. I was very good at sports up until that point.
Right, okay.
I've been really good. I was good at football. But that was the shift. That was the change.
Yeah.
And I realized that there was something else. And then I discovered on my 16th birthday, my dad made me a cassette for my birthday called Forever Young.
Okay.
And on the cassette he put Joan Baez, Chris Christopherson, Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
And I just discovered all these songs. Because up until then, music for me had just been about music, entertainment, fun, blah, blah, blah. But
yeah.
suddenly I discovered the power of a song. And it was that same year I bought the Simon and Garfunkel Greatest Hits album. And I'll never forget finishing Sound of Silence and feeling like I had just read a novel or movie and only 3 minutes had passed.
Yeah, yeah.
And having a very short attention span, I thought I could get used to this. This is cool.
So that's probably one of your earliest memories of knowing what you wanted to do, what you do today.
Yeah, so that's when it was, yeah.
What is the most satisfying part of writing music for you? And I got a bit, and then it just went distorted.
Yeah, it's the mystery. It's the mystery aspect of it. The fact that every time I write a song, I'm pretty baffled as to why and where it came from. There's a great Tom Petty quote where he says, every time I pick up a guitar, it's like holding a lightning rod. You just hope something's going to hit.
Right.
And that's kind of how I feel. Sometimes you pick up a guitar and it's an empty box of wood. Other times you pick up a guitar and it's filled with treasures.
Is it for you though? Is it more about, is it the lyrics you write first, or is it the music comes first?
It comes together these days.
Okay.
When it started out, it used to be lyrics first, but now I kind of don't do one without the other. I guess I play around with different melodies, and then it'll suddenly inspire. Suddenly, I'll just say something, and that sort of opens a can of worms.
I think now you don't live in London anymore, do you? 'Cause I know you lived in London for a while, and you left London maybe to have a family, I guess, which is what I did. Is it possible, though, for you to separate your work from your daily life these days?
From my daily life?
Yeah, I mean, how easy or how hard is it to separate? 'Cause I know if you're in London, you're in that sort of environment, but if you're not in London, you're sort of, like me, I live in the middle of nowhere in the countryside, and it's quite hard sometimes.
I live in the countryside now, so it's amazing. Like the minute I get out of my car, it's done. I don't bring anything home. I have a piano and a guitar at home, but I don't want any studio equipment.
Okay.
I don't want anything like that. I just love having the two lives. They're two completely different lives.
Yeah. I mean, do you miss the London life though? Or was that something just you finished with?
No, I don't. I mean, I loved London. I loved London. And I loved being a Londoner. I loved the anonymity that London gave me. And I loved the career and the friends and my wife. I met my wife in London, and both my children are born in London. So London will always be my city. But now I love that I have my own little island.
Yeah.
And I have my own little hideaway. And my family is now more important than the city.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. And also, you said about the anonymity of like being in London, but so when say when some of your fans actually meet you, and what do they think? What's the biggest misconception they have of you? Do they think you're? I don't know. What's the biggest, or what do you think is the biggest misconception they have of you?
I think probably the biggest misconception most people have of me is that they think I'm much older.
Right.
Because we've been doing this for so long. I'm older. But I've had that from the beginning. I remember when people came to one of my first shows, they got my first album, and everybody was sort of like, wow, we thought you were like an old man. we thought you were much older.
Yeah.
But I got to say, our fans, again, we have really good fans, purely because all of our fans have discovered my music in such different ways.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when you don't have a hit single. People sort of discover you in very different ways, and that makes for every single fan to be rather unique. And yeah, it's very nice.
And also because your fans, they've discovered you, like you say, by different ways, rather than being on the top of the singles. They've discovered you because by your voice, you find out you're an amazing singer, and they've discovered you, and then they'll stick with you through your career then, rather than being just like
That's the thing. It feels like everyone has discovered us in their own personal way, and that's really lovely. And it's actually nice to see how so many of our fans kind of become friends and connect because of that, because they all have different stories. So yeah, it's a wonderful community.
And for you, I mean, when you're on stage, it's a two-way thing, isn't it? You feed off the audience as well. They obviously.
Oh, for sure. You need it. Connection. The word I always use is connection. The magic of this job is the connection, and you both need to be a part of that. Otherwise, you disconnect.
And last question, if you don't mind. I could talk to you all day. Do you ever get scared or fearful when you're on stage, or is that something it's just like a job to you? You just become a different person when you're on the stage?
I have been scared. I've been terrified. now I really, really enjoy it. I mean, I love my band. I love my crew. We've never had such a great team. I love the music we're playing right now.
Yeah.
I'm really loving the music. This has definitely been the most I've enjoyed touring ever.
Oh, good. Right, thank you for your time, and I'll come and say hello in Cardiff. I'll bring my wife for her birthday.
Please do, man. Please do, absolutely.
Perfect, nice one.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you for supporting us, man. I appreciate it a lot, man.
No, thank you for your time. I know I'd get you at some point, but I know you've been the hardest person to track down in and I've interviewed hundreds of people, so, you know, I can... No, sorry. Alice Cooper was like next day.
You'll find me on the night.
I'll come and see you on the night, yeah.
Perfect.
Alright, dude, nice one.
Take care.
Thanks, you take care, my friend. Bye-bye, bye-bye.
Bye-bye, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.